Okay, so we're going to be talking about the hunting information and the digestive system of the porky serpent next. So the hunting information is that there's two primary hunting mechanisms for the porky serpent. One is a tail strike, and the second one is the head bite. So the tail strike is what Pouria talked about before, is a big spike on its tail. Now over here, it's bigger in diameter, it's stronger, and it has venom on it. This is used sometimes for small prey or when it's fleeing from predators, it strikes from behind, able to slow it down or scare off the predator. And if the predator is too large and it's close, it uses its teeth that have venom on it, the canines, the fangs, yeah. So it uses these fangs to inject more venom, the neurotoxin, even more than the tail does. So this happens for if the prey is bigger too or larger and it's closer, it's able to paralyze it and take it with it easier. So why not constriction? So the porky serpent is unable to do constriction like a constrictor snake does. It doesn't have the flexibility, and it wouldn't make sense, right? The porky serpent has the porcupine attribute of quills. Now, if you imagine wrapping around prey would be difficult because there's a chance it stabs itself. And it wouldn't make sense because it has such strong venom and neurotoxins that can kill the prey that there's no need for it to constrict the prey.
Yeah, like the back muscles and tail muscles that help control the quill contraction movement. It actually becomes makes the body structure of the porky serpent really flexible. It's just like you said, if it does wrap around somebody or a prey, it might accidentally just stab itself with quills, right?
Yeah,
and just that's the end of it.
The quills they get in the way of constriction is the main part. Yeah. So how it hunts, the hunting methodology is stealth and camouflage is one of the parts. So it's a green color. So it's a green color. It's a dark green color, has spots on it. You can't really see in the video, unfortunately, but there's a green dark tone to it. And this helps with camouflage. And the thing about camouflage that helps it is that it doesn't have to move so much, and it can hide in debris, and it waits there, and it uses its keen sensory systems, to see prey and strike it when the prey is caught off guard by the porky serpent. So this goes into the ambush strategy. Okay, so they go hand in hand. Using the stealth and the camouflage, they're able to ambush prey. And because this is a ectotherm, that's how they hunt, right? So it ambushes by either waiting in feeding pathways of prey or feeding areas. So let's say where little mammals go, or little herbivores, anything that the rodents, anything in the diet of the porky serpent, it goes to its feeding area, so like seeds or flowers, and it waits there, stealthy and camouflage. It waits and then it strikes and ambushes the prey using its fangs, or if it's very small, it's able to strike it from afar using its tail at lightning fast speeds using that. So it has precision striking. So both the teeth, the head bite, and the tail strike are very precise. It doesn't usually miss. It's usually a calculated attack. So when it comes into a range of 1 to 2 meters, it strikes, the tail uncoils and strikes at lightning fast speeds, containing neurotoxic venom. So this also slows it down, right? And then if it comes closer, it uses its teeth and then it bites its prey or predator. So it subdues prey, right? After it bites or injects venom into it, using its teeth or its tail, like stated before, it will wait until the prey is not moving and it's safe to come close to it. Then it knows that when the prey is not moving, it can take it home or it can eat it there, either or. So this is where it goes into consumption. So the porky serpent has inherited the attribute of king cobras. So king cobras in general, they have these jaws that are large and flexible and strong, okay? These jaws are able to open up. They're very flexible and they can swallow small prey. Now, I said small prey because if it's big prey, what it can do is use its incisors and its fangs or canines to take pieces off, or if it wants, it can drag it back to its burrow, save it, and eat it later, because they don't eat too often.
Yeah, as they're ectotherms, once they eat a big prey, then they don't use as much energy, so it's not like endotherms that constantly eat and constantly hunt. Yeah, it's like waste and use significant amount of energy.
Yeah.
They use less energy, so when they do eat a big prey with like a lot of nutritional values, then the next time they hunt would be just like really far in the timeline.
Yeah, it would be later on.
Yeah.
And wouldn't need food again. So it uses sensory systems. So the main sensory parts of the Porky serpent is one being the eyes. The eyes are also inherited by the from the king cobra. It has strong eyes that can detect prey, predators, organisms in general from 100 meters away, and has a really keen sense of smell that's able to detect prey. So let's say its eyes can't detect it, it has another sense that's able to detect the animal or the organism. So it also has very silent movement. So although it's very big in size, it contains quills all around. It can slide around debris, and we'll talk about more in locomotion when we get there, but it's very quiet when it moves. It's part of its hunting. So it's also energy efficient. So it's an ambush predator. So this is kind of what we were talking about right now. It's an ambush predator. It doesn't actively chase an organism or prey because that's usually what a mammal does, and this is not a mammal, right? So yeah, it's an ectotherm, right? This is how the ectotherm hunts. Although it's a mix of a mammal, this is how our chimera hunts.
Yeah, usually like in a high predatory and competitive environments, that's like the way its hunting would be. Because if it does like chase after the prey or stalk the prey, then it's too much energy usage, or it just exposes itself more to the environment and to getting hunted by other predators.
Yeah.
You're trying to hunt a prey and you get caught off guard by another predator.
Yeah.
So it just tends not to do that. Just ambush it.
Yeah.
Trying to hunt it. Yeah.
And then also an energy efficiency is the fact that it can camouflage in places. So because it can camouflage, it doesn't actually need to move around a lot. So it can stay in one place long enough and wait for prey without worrying too much about predators coming and attacking it when it's vulnerable in that open area. So now we've talked about hunting, right? We've talked about hunting, how it hunts, what mechanisms it uses, all these additional features. But we're going to go to digestive system. The digestive system is very important and it's part of the hunting, right? It's taken the prey, it's brought it back. Now, how does it eat the prey? So it uses its mouth and teeth, right? The fangs, and it uses the incisors from the porcupine to take pieces and swallow them or also bring it back to its place, right? Bring back to its burrow. So they function together. They kind of work really well together by injecting to immobilize and or to tear through flesh.
And they also have canine teeth that are used to like kind of like chew the meat apart, like just rip the meat apart.
Yeah, tear the flesh apart.
Tear the flesh apart like the canines. So it's just like more exposure to enzymes.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets to the stomach eventually.
Yeah, eventually. So now the salivary glands. This is kind of what Pouria was talking about enzymes. So in the salivary glands, let's first talk about where they are. They're usually behind they're in the mouth. They have ducts that connect to the fangs from the salivary glands and then are in the mouth, sorry, it doesn't connect to the fangs. They release enzymes and digestive enzymes to break down the food. It helps with that. And they are pretty large compared to the chimera or the porky serpent. It's size-wise, it's pretty big compared to the porky serpent. So it's kind of consists of eating. It's a carnivorous diet, right? We talked about this. So it works with the porcupines. Also, what's it called? It's salivary glands. So what the porcupine does is salivary glands. It lubricates the food. Now we talked about this in the hunting. It swallows whole, right? Opens a straw and it eats it. What the lubricating does is that it softens the food and also makes it easier to go down. Yeah, down the esophagus. So speaking of the esophagus, the esophagus is from the king cobra. It's simple and short, and it contains super acidic environments, right? It moves prey from the mouth, the mouth to the stomach using a process called peristylus. So it's involuntary movement of the esophagus, right? And I want to point out actually for the salivary glands, they also break down food with enzymes, and they produce enzymes such as amylase and lipase to break down carbohydrates and fats. So now we've got past salivary glands. We're kind of in the esophagus. We're moving down a bit. Now in the stomach and gallbladder. Okay, the stomach is from the king cobra. We talked about the high acidic environments that secretes enzymes such as pepsin to break down proteins and lipases to break down fats. And now we're talking about the gallbladder. The gallbladder is responsible for storing and concentrating the bile produced by the liver. Okay, pretty straightforward use. Now in the intestines, while it's digesting, in the intestines, the small intestines from the king cobra, where digestive enzymes from the pancreas are released into the small intestine for further breakdown of the food. Now the large intestine is actually from the porcupine. This is because the porcupine's large intestine has efficiency in reabsorption of water. So we were talking about this. In its environment, it's very important to conserve water and not to lose or waste any water.
Yeah, so it can't really afford to lose water because like it's important for its venom gland production, the health of the scales, and also in the you point out in the small intestine, also really the small intestine in the porcu serpent is also plays a huge role in absorbing the nutrients. In nutritional value, it's really important because it's an ectotherm needs to have
nutrients and the right amount of everything.
Yeah.
So the liver and pancreas, right? We were talking about that. So it's a very efficient for the liver. It's a very efficient enzyme and bioproduction for protein and fat digestion. The liver can also detoxify venom-resistant prey toxins. So this is for its safety, and also the pancreas regulated digestion and energy storage.
Also, the liver is also able to detoxify its own venom that is in the body of the prey because once the venom gets in, the porcu serpent is not immune to its own venom. So if it does affect the nervous system of it or the circulatory system, that is the end of the porcu serpent. So it needs to have a really trustworthy and strong detoxification system.
Yeah, something you can rely on so it doesn't die, and that's what it has. So it also has a cloaca. So we've gone over cloaca in class. We've used an example of chickens in class. So the cloaca is a hole where it excretes everything out of. So that includes like undigested food and nitrogenous waste like urine, but also reproductive organs come out of there too. Yeah. And then these both, like the porcu serpent's combo of both the king cobra's digestive system and the digestive system and the porcupine's digestive system, they work together, and it kind of helps it in an environment where there's so many predators that when it's eating, you know how you see a snake, sometimes they're eating or consuming prey as like large prey, they could be sitting there for a long time and vulnerable to predators. So because it's able to use its incisors to cut pieces off, that allows for it to be safe in the environment also as well, so it doesn't have to worry about predators attacking it. It can maybe take a piece back, go back to its burrow and eat, things like that. So that's pretty much everything for the hunting information and the digestive system.